Hello everyone, this is Sudhanshu Ramteke from CUET BABA. Today we will focus on Paleolithic Age of Stone Age. So let's begin with introduction first. So human progress began 2.6 million years ago when people in East Africa began using tools. The term Stone Age was first used by Christian J. Thompson in the second half of the 1800s. The discovery of a Paleolithic stone tool in India in 1863 was made by Robert Bruce Foote. Archaeological relics provide crucial information about the prehistoric era when humans first settled in India, which is useful in reconstructing this era. Over a minimum of 5 lakh years, there have been 3 stages of human colonization in India, which are prehistoric, protohistoric, and historic. So the Stone Age is divided into the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic periods based on a subsistence foundation, tool type, and geological age. John Lubbock divided the Stone Age into the Neolithic and Paleolithic, while Edward Lartet proposed splitting the Paleolithic based on tool type and faunal changes. Most paleoanthropological studies carried out in the last 3 decades suggest that hominids evolved exclusively in Africa between 4 and 2 million years ago. 2 to 1.5 million years ago, Homo erectus inhabited the warmer parts of Asia and Europe. In honor of the French-type site of Saint Achille, archaeologists have named this hominid civilization Acheulean. Now, as per We, God and Child, the role of environment in shaping the development of human culture has been acknowledged by archaeologists for long. Material culture is largely a response to an environment. It consists of devices evolved to meet needs evoked by particular climatic conditions, to take advantage of local sources of food, and to secure protection against wild beasts, floods, or other nuisances infesting a given region. Different societies have been prompted to invent different devices and to discover how to use different natural substances for food, fuel, shelter, and tools. The 3H theory of Thomson states that when the prehistoric archaeology of India is divided or grouped into Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Chalcolithic, it is generally understood that man first knew the use of stone, but not copper and iron. Hence, Stone Age. Now, let's study Paleolithic Age, which is also known as the Old Stone Age. The study of Indian prehistory began in Europe in the 19th century when scientists like Darwin, Lyell, and Evan challenged conventional wisdom regarding the origins of humans. The first Paleolithic tools were discovered in South India in 1863 by British geologist Robert Bruce Foote. However, significant progress in Paleolithic research began in 1950. The 3 prehistoric eras that have been identified in India are the Paleolithic, which is the Old Stone Age, Mesolithic, which is the Middle Stone Age, and Neolithic, which is the New Stone Age. Nevertheless, these eras were not uniform across the Indian subcontinent, so it varied. The Greek terms paleo, which stands for old, and lithic, which stands for stone, refer to the ancient Stone Age, the first time that people use technology widely as they transition from simpler to more complex stages of life. The beginning of agriculture, animal domestication, and the smelting of copper ore for metal occurred between 5 lakh and 6,000 BCE. This period is considered prehistoric since humans had not yet developed writing, which is typically recognized as beginning of recorded history. They provide as a characteristic that unites the 2 periods and eliminate the social, moral, and religious aspects of those era. Rather than categorizing stone tools into simple assemblages or industries, the word culture is used to describe them because they provide an insight into the material culture of the Paleolithic age. The Paleolithic era is divided into 3 phases according to climatic shifts, as well as the advancement of tools and technologies. starting with Lower Paleolithic, which lasted from 50 lakh BCE to 50,000 BCE. The Middle Paleolithic, which lasted from 50,000 to 40,000 BCE, and the Upper Paleolithic, which lasted from 40,000 to 10,000 BCE, which are the next phases. So let's begin with characteristic features of the Paleolithic age. Let's begin with climatic condition that actually define the stages of Paleolithic age. So the dry climate of the subcontinent caused the sea levels to fall. Western India, including Didwana in Rajasthan, Junagadh in Gujarat, and Paitan in Maharashtra, has evidence of this phenomenon. The dune period in Thar Desert took place during the third glacial period in temperate Europe, which lasted from 191,000 BCE to 150,000 BCE. Extreme cold during this time caused water to freeze and lowered sea levels uh, by as much as 100 meters. The lack of lower Paleolithic material in Afghanistan, Central Asia, and large portion of Iran implies that Thar Desert and southern Balochistan served as the route between Africa and India. The Middle Paleolithic period saw a wet phase with sand dunes stabilizing during the abundant vegetation and higher precipitation levels. Deserts were cleared to create habitats for humans and wild animals. The Upper Paleolithic period was marked by intensely cold climate due to the last glaciation, resulting in an extremely arid climate. Now, what was their diet? So, fruits from and fish, plants, and animals were killed and eaten. Their diet also included beans, nuts, and vegetables, and where they used to live, the habitat. Humans lived in their natural environments, particularly caves. What were the animals that were found in that era? So, the elephants, like especially straight tusked elephants, cattle, wolves, buffaloes, hippopotamus, and camels were among the animals left behind, and the remains indicated an ecosystem with grass steppes, trees, and year-round water sources. Deers, ostriches, chinkaras, sambars, nilgais, porcupines, enormous squirrels, jungle cats, monitor lizards, and four-horned antelopes were also present. Dogs were tamed and conditioned. Now, what were the tools? With several subtypes such as cleavers, choppers, scrapers, flakes, blades, hoes, and discoid points, and hand axe. The hand axe is the most popular. These are the most popular type of tool, and among them, hand axe is the like kind of more popular. So the back pointed blades, standardized blades, burins, scrapers, flakes, and blades are all characteristics of Upper Paleolithic. Now, what about the artistic side? So, clothing was made from skin of animals and tree leaves. Red rock paintings first appeared during the Upper Paleolithic period. So basically, regarding like their art and activities, they actually had very humble beginnings. Now, let's see at the sources of entertainment, that is dance and music. So the 30,000-year-old Paleolithic cave paintings at the Bhimbetka rock shelters in Madhya Pradesh, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, depict a type of dancing. Although the exact origins of prehistoric music are unknown, evidence of bone flute suggests that these societies' music originated in the Upper Paleolithic, some 40,000 years ago. This is in contrast with the earlier Middle Paleolithic period, which spanned from 3 lakh to 50,000 years ago. With with the possible exception of a few early flutes and percussion instruments, little is known about prehistoric music. Now, what about the spiritual side? Throughout the Upper Paleolithic, between 10,000 and 20,000 years ago, there was worship of mother goddesses and fire. When a triangle was worshipped 11,000 years ago in Bagor, Madhya Pradesh, it served as a symbol of the feminine. The triangular stone with triangles carved into it, marked in red ochre, was found at the goddess's shrine. study the phases of Paleolithic age. Let's begin with Lower Paleolithic age. So the alluvial deposits of rich valleys, river valleys, which are separated into Pleistocene age, alluvium, and younger Holocene alluvium are frequently linked to Lower Paleolithic industry tools. In the river valleys of the peninsula, the sediments are arranged as follows: a boulder layer, a cobble or pebble layer, a gravel horizon, and occasionally a secondary layer of deposits. The Middle Paleolithic industry follows it within the cycle, whereas the Upper Paleolithic industry is located in the upper part of the older alluvium and belongs to the closing phase of the terminal Pleistocene. The subcontinent had a dry climate with sea levels dropping by several meters. There is evidence of this phenomenon in Gujarat's Junagadh, Maharashtra's Paitan, Rajasthan's Didwana, and Western India, as mentioned before. Between 1,91,000 and 1,50,000 BCE, or the third glacial period in Europe's temperate zone, the dune formation in Thar Desert took place. The third glaciation in Europe's temperate regions coincides with this time period, as during this period of extreme cold, water was locked into ice, which caused the sea level to drop up to 100 meters. Now, recent data from South Africa suggests that rather than being the hunter, man was the prey. Being more of a scavenger, he survived off the leftovers of wild animals and needed the cooperation of a large community to hunt large animals like elephants, something that would not have been possible in Lower Paleolithic when people were organized in very small groups. Mankind, most of the time, needs to subsist more on tubers and other plant food. Now, this was the condition of that time. An abundance of stone tool assemblages is largely representative of the early human colonization of South Asia. So, the Acheulean, which is also known as biface, or Sonian, which is also known as biface traditions, have typically been attributed to Lower Paleolithic assemblages from Indian subcontinent. The Sonian and Acheulean are two different cultural and technological traditions that comprise the oldest authentic stone tool assemblages. The most common tool type, the hand axe, is primarily composed of quartzite, though some trap rock has also been discovered, which comes in varieties of subtypes. Now, they most likely performed a number of tasks, such as hunting, animal butchering, skinning, bone breaking for marrow extraction, root and tuber digging, processing plant foods, and crafting wooden tools and weapons. Now, this was all about the Old Paleolithic Age. Now, let's talk about the Middle Paleolithic Age. So, in the Indian prehistoric culture sequence, the Middle Paleolithic culture is a unique cultural phase that emerged that emerged during the Upper Pleistocene, a time of extreme cold and glaciation in northern latitudes. It is linked to the physical remains of Homo sapiens, or Neanderthal man, who had an equal intellectual capacity and a brain size of modern man. So, the Middle Paleolithic sites are classified into cave or rock shelter sites, open air sites, stratified or riverine sites, and workshop factory sites. Deeply weathered soil was formed during the Middle Paleolithic because of regions' high levels of precipitation, abundant vegetation, and significant humidity. A variety of wild animals and humans, such as elephants, wild horses, and hippo species, found a suitable home at after the desert was cleared. Men living in the Middle Paleolithic period hunted large animals like deer and wild cattle. Now, during the Middle Paleolithic phase, there was a widespread shift toward grained materials such as agate, chert, jasper, chalcedony, which function as the center or nucleus from which a variety of flakes could be detached. Additional tools discovered at the locations include knives, borers, scrapers, points, basins, hand axes, cleavers, and other items similar to denticulate or sans edge tools. In 1954, it was first acknowledged that this cultural phase existed in the Indian prehistoric cultural sequence. Now, let's have a look at Upper Paleolithic phase. So, M.L. Kimurti, S.A. Sali, and G.R. Sharma made significant contribution to the identification of Upper Paleolithic phase in Indian prehistory in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Tools became smaller than those in Middle Paleolithic, and Upper Paleolithic stone tools consisted of parallel-sided lithic blade and bone tool technology. The culture was terminate Pleistocene period with Homo sapiens as the authors. Due to the effects of last glacier, the Upper Paleolithic environment was characterized by an intensely cold and extremely arid climate. The discovery of animal remains in Kernul caves from a variety of species suggests that hunting was taking place. The Upper Paleolithic phases, lithic tool types included burins, flakes, blades, back pointed blades, and standardized blades. Side scrapers, choppers, and flakes were connected to wood and bone, and burins were utilized to work as chisels to carve out spaces in wood or as housing for artifacts made of blades. So now let's study important Paleolithic sites. Begin with Bhimbetka. So before I begin with Bhimbetka, I would like to tell that Bhimbetka is a very important site for all the phases of Stone Age. So one of the biggest collections of prehistoric art of India is found in Bhimbetka, a town in west central Madhya Pradesh, that is 28 miles south of Bhopal. The 700 shelter complex, which was found by V.S. Wakankar in 1957, was named as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003. Prehistoric and later paintings can be found in more than 500 of the shelters. Since 1972, the 8 groups of shelters have undergone systematic drilling. It is located in dense deciduous forest, home to over 30 different species of trees and plants that sustain the rural population of the area. And Bhimbetka has plenty of resources to meet the basic needs of people, including food, water, and shelter. The shelter's stratigraphy, which lacks any signs of organic material or fire, is typical of sites' various layers. The Upper Paleolithic period was brief, and the Acheulean industry of Bhimbetka is a remnant of the final phase of the Acheulean tradition. 3 cultural and chronological periods can be distinguished from the cave paintings, which are prehistoric, transitional, and historical. Atirampakkam. So, R.B. Foote and William King first investigated the open-air Paleolithic site of Atirampakkam in Tamil Nadu, India in 1863, and V.D. Krishnaswamy conducted additional research there in the year 1935. The site has been associated with the basal Narmada zone of the mid Pleistocene and has been the focus of ongoing research to determine the stratigraphy, culture sequence, and study of hominin adaptation over the Pleistocene. The, the excavations conducted by K.D. Banerjee in 1964 and 1965 revealed a stratification of the site comprising detrital laterite, sterile brownish silt, and top surface yielding microliths. Now, Cherokee. Middle Stone Age tools were discovered in gravel rubble deposit on the Amidgil basalt by Cherokee Nala excavation. The tools included hand axes, cleavers, choppers, and scrapers, all of which showed advanced Acheulean characteristics. The region's early Paleolithic industry most likely dates from the late Acheulean period. The tools at this site have not been moved far from their original location, setting it apart from other Stone Age sites in India. Now, this fact actually implies that lower Paleolithic humans may have used this site as a temporary camp. The discovery of fossilized bones further suggests that human activity was present in the area. Okay. So, Nevasa. So, M.N. Deshpande of the Archaeological Survey of India identified six cultural eras ranging from Lower Paleolithic to the Muslim Maratha era. Tools from Lower Paleolithic such as hand axes, clevers, flakes, hoes, hammerstones, and choppers were discovered in cemented gravel. Lower gravel in Belpandari, Surigao, and Karegaon, um, and middle gravel at Nevasa are where Middle Paleolithic tools were discovered. The flow bases and corresponding burials showed evidence of at least five distinct occupation phases. A total of 131 burials were discovered, 126 of which were children, and five of which were of adults. Microliths, polished stone X's, copper bracelets, beads, rings, hooks, chisels, beads, terracotta, skin rubbers, lamps, pottery, discs, and other items were among the cultural tools. So this was all about Paleolithic age. Thank you.